The crown was a gift. It was actually a death sentence. I spent 9 years trapped in the 4 CSF7, reliving the same nightmare. The final boss room lies before me. The gate of the abyss beckons, its dark entrance a portal to my own demise. How many patterns will it have? And what about its attribute?
It most likely has an ultimate move.
Prepare for the worst.
You've reached 55A8V.
3H1 was the way to catch on.
Tutorial complete.
User check complete. Time to put theory into practice.
Dungeon Stone.
Dungeon and Stone. Select your character.
Huhan Darf Fairy Barbarian Furry Barbapton.
When I chose Barbarian as my character, this is how the game started.
A new beginning.
The game begins anew.
Nothing.
How fitting. The cycle repeats.
Do they even know where they're going? This is a ticking time bomb waiting to unleash chaos. Venom's third son, Carrick, has led them astray with a trail of breadcrumbs that lead nowhere.
Stop. This isn't a game, Carrick. His voice cuts through the din.
Absolute jokes. It's not like they're any good since they followed him, her words cut like a knife.
Alright, stop it. I admit I'm not qualified, and I'll step down as the leader.
Barbarians. Swarming. Anna, don't be fooled, the labyrinth's not for the faint of heart. We'll need all our wits to survive. Follow me. I've seen the labyrinth's entrance, and it's real. The thrill of discovery courses through my veins. 6097 and the labyrinth, a deadly union. Jandel's son, Bjorn, I've heard of him. And you, Arya, are Feneline's third daughter, Einar. And you, Anna, are the second daughter. We're the last ones standing, and we must act fast. The other warriors have already entered the labyrinth.
Dr. Breos, it's time to be reborn again.
Think before you act, Anna. That's the key to survival and wisdom. Thanks for the advice, Arya. I'll repay you if I make it back from the labyrinth. If you make it back.
They handed me the keys to the realm. The monster's relentless assault is unrelenting.
It's adapting to our attacks, its tactics as cunning as a snake.
Ugh. Come closer quickly.
Don't try to outrun it, the monster's speed is a blur.
Krare KKR. The monster's deafening roar approaches. The keys slipped into his palm like a cold kiss. The labyrinth's walls trembled, its foundations shuddering in protest.
You're telling me the crown's a gift? Her voice dripped with venom, each word a razor's edge. They said it would bring us power.
His voice dropped to a whisper, the words a promise. Together, the labyrinth's walls seemed to shudder in response, its foundations crumbling beneath their feet. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife.
They have a mage and priestess in this party, which means they're at least mid to high level. That's a significant advantage.
We're talking about a party that's been around for years, and they're still going strong. They've got the experience and skills to handle the labyrinth.
Time spent within the labyrinth is as precious as gold. Every moment counts, and every decision is crucial. It's a miracle they spent this much time on me to begin with. I'm just a pawn in their game. I should be happy that I survived. He's lucky he met us. We're the ones who gave him a chance to survive.
It's lucky that he met Drouse, not you. You didn't even want to use your potion because you were too cheap.
Humph, since there's like don't.
Humph. Do you think everyone thinks like you? If it weren't for the regulations of the temple, she would have healed him.
Are two-faced, you see. Always playing both sides against each other. Given Draugr's behavior, I'm starting to think he's not as lucky as you claimed. This journey feels like a descent into madness. If we're going to take the shortcut, we need to turn now. It's a relief to have a guide who knows the terrain. I agree.
For once, Drouse is honest about the distance, kilometers of unforgiving terrain.
He had nothing to trade, so he had to rely on his wits. I take back my earlier statement.
Treat suffering as a series of protocols to be followed.
No matter how many times they fail, they'll never.
They whispered the truth. The crown was a gift, but a death sentence in disguise.
They handed him the keys to the kingdom, a heavy weight settling on his shoulders. Danger lurked in every shadow, and losing him now would be catastrophic.
The number that haunted him, a constant reminder of the unrelenting pressure. Sleep was a luxury he couldn't afford, the sound of shattering glass echoing in his mind.
Bloodstained throne.
The wind howls, his fingers grasping the edge of triumph as the kingdom teeters on the brink of collapse.
Four ancient artifacts lie before me, the coveted treasure of Maghal Iali, forged in a fire that consumed the very soul of the land. The assassin's strike is a lightning-fast whisper, a silent killer that leaves no warning, no time to react. A new player has entered the game, and I'm the first to fall.
They handed him the keys to the kingdom, but the flames licking the walls told a different story.
Welcome, Barbarian, to the end of the world.
Prophecy shatters.
You think you're strong, but the system's grip will crush you. The system's collapse is imminent. Every man for himself, in a desperate bid for survival.
Chaos erupts, and the world burns.
You're just a pawn in a game of cosmic proportions. The real players will stop at nothing to claim victory.
They handed him the keys to the kingdom, but his heart plummeted as torches ignited, casting a fiery glow across the landscape.
I'm an expert archer, and I'm ready to take aim. And he's got magical flames at his disposal. This is going to be a wild ride.
Summon the spirit and unleash its fury.
Volts, this is going to be a heart-stopping, adrenaline-fueled ride.
They handed him the keys to the kingdom, the day they planned to incinerate it. The once mighty walls now stood as a macabre testament to their impending demise.
Mister, there are ghouls closing in.
Ghouls? Where? What kind of monstrous horde are we up against? Together we will fight no more. We are a team after all.
Well, this is actually a great situation.
They handed him the keys to the labyrinth, a death sentence on the day the Crystal Union abandoned ship.
Time's running out, Barbarian. Hours left on the first floor. We'll stay by the portal, a temporary reprieve, a brief respite. For now, but for how long? But for how long? The labyrinth's patience is wearing thin. Time's running out, we're out of time.
Even if I'm aware there are only monsters here, the labyrinth's tricks are endless.
I still feel like I'm being corrected to fairy, a mere puppet, on strings of fear. Ah, there are traps, a deadly welcome, to the labyrinth's lair. What? The labyrinth's twists are endless. That's it? Our journey's far from over.
Hof!
Don't get too enthralled by the thrill of the unknown. This is the labyrinth, anything can happen, and it won't be pretty.
That's the spirit, Arya. We need to stay razor sharp.
fascinating how she navigates the tall grass without making a sound. I suppose that's what a fairy's magic is like, effortless and mysterious. I'm starting to think this is going to be a wild ride. The battle within me is stirring. I can feel the fire of the warrior rising up.
Woru aware,